Welcome to the Straight Up, No Bullshit, The Don Hanston Show. Our hosts are going to push the limits, but create an environment where it's safe to uncover the crap that holds you back so you can survive the mediocrity of today's life. And they'll be admitting and revealing their own experiences so you can learn the skills and attitude you need to be who you are. No bullshit. Warning to all listeners, if you have thin skin and get offended easily by harsh, direct, or somewhat offensive content and language, then this podcast may be overwhelming. However, we believe pulling your blinders off and viewing things from a real perspective may feel invigorating and may be the very thing that may cause you to expand your capabilities exponentially. Now here's your hosts, Don and Markus.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. We are so glad you're here. We're trying some new technologies. Hopefully you got to see their intro there and rock and roll. We're having a good time here. So are we, I'm seeing some, are we all vertical there or what I'm trying to see here? What does the screen look like, guys, on your end?
Looks good to me. Looks
Okay.
good.
Looks good?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank everyone for joining us today at the Don Hanston Show. Straight up, no bullshit. We got some good stuff to talk about. And Markus, you want to start us up?
Yeah, well, today we're going to talk. Our episode is the fight for America, exposing the left's final attempts to derail Trump. And there's a lot of great things to talk about. A lot of things happening. It seems like maybe it was a little quiet over the holidays, but I think there's some stuff that's been going on behind the scenes that maybe people aren't aware of. So we'll start that off. So Sal, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, well, I mean, once again, kind of a slow news cycle, except for two events that are dominating most of the news, and that's the the horrible New Orleans tragedy, and then the the Tesla Cybertruck blowing up in Las Vegas in front of the Trump Hotel. So that's kind of been dominating the news. I mean, I like Elon Musk's tweet. He said, "Man, did they pick the wrong vehicle to do that in?" Which didn't even break the windows of the hotel, and it was parked right in front.
It didn't. The whole body was perfectly fine, and obviously they're like, yeah, no. I guess Elon worked with them, and literally they got them to unlock the vehicle and pop it open, and it was pretty wild.
And he made it. He opened up access so they could track all the charging. I know he was in Colorado. He charged in Arizona. He charged in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So he made everything available. I mean, but what do you expect though? The truck's bulletproof.
Yeah.
So everything went up. So
yeah, it was wild. Did you see the clips on the actual explosion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like fireworks are going off because that's what was in there: fireworks and gasoline. And I guess there was a couple bombs in there too. Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was the New Orleans guys. But and the guy was in there too. I mean, he killed suicide. I don't know what he thought he was going to do.
Shot himself in the face, in the head, I guess.
So what are you guys thinking? Are you thinking that they blew up the Elon Musk truck in front of the Trump hotel to try and make it seem like there's a problem between the two, or is it to rub it in both guys' faces? What's your guys' perspective on this?
Well, honestly, I think that, it's very obvious that the left is trying to put a wedge in between Elon and Trump. I mean, we knew this going into this months ago that this was what they're going to try to do, because a house divided is easy to conquer, but it's not going to work because I think Elon's too smart for it, and Donald Trump, I mean, he's Donald Trump 2.0. He's not the same guy, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, that would, maybe get lit off of some of this stuff. He understands what's going on and has a much better understanding and perspective on all of this. So I think it's going to backfire on them in big time. And for this guy that tried to do it in front of the Trump Tower, it did backfire on him. I mean, the guy just fried himself for nothing. And if nothing else, it's a great commercial for the Tesla vehicles. Look how durable the damn things are.
Right.
Yeah,
right?
I don't understand what I mean. I think they were trying to send the message. Obviously, Musk vehicle, Trump's hotel, but I could see if he wasn't in the vehicle and it blew up, then they could try to say, "Well, look, these electric vehicles are no good. They blew up." But with him staying in the vehicle and shooting himself in the head, and then it blowing up, I don't really understand. I just think it was a dig against both of them, obviously. And you have the FBI coming out today saying there is no definitive link between the two, which I think is BS. I'm sorry, because They both were in the service together, served in the same
Fort Bragg.
division,
They
I
were
think.
both in Fort
Yeah,
Bragg.
both in
Yep.
Fort Bragg, which also was the place where the guy who was stalking Trump at the golf course, where that guy visited many times. So there's that link. So I think the FBI is just trying to cover it up because they don't want to make it look like they relaxed again because they were too busy, following other people instead of figuring out what was going on here. So I definitely think they're related.
It's 6 hours apart.
Yeah.
When it comes to this kind of stuff, I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. How are they linked? Who the hell knows? And honestly, maybe they're just two guys that they psyoped, and they just fucking press the buttons and off and let them go and see what kind of havoc they're going to create.
Both Democrats.
But I do think that we're going to see. I think we're going to see. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride between now and January 20th.
Oh, absolutely. Things are going to pick up speed. Actually, one of the things I wanted to mention, and I talked about this in the last show, was the Dogey department, right? Department of Government Efficiency. Well, I made a comment with my perspective that I thought that they're going to have to jump through a lot of red tape in order to whether fine, fire, or incarcerate these bad actors. But I was watching some some video clips and some podcasts and some tweets, and it looks like that I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I was spot on, because it sounds like that is their goal, is to let everyone know what these people are doing, the crimes they're committing, the money they're stealing, and the people that are getting harmed by what they're doing or not doing in these departments, like the FDA, right? Taking all this money to put poisons in our food. So a lot of this stuff is going to come out, and that's why these people are evacuating. Okay, these governmental departments, they want to get out of there because they think that they're not going to be held accountable. Well, maybe not, but I think that there's still going to be recourse for a lot of these people. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention, was that Department of the Dogey department, their prime objective is to unveil all the corruption, unveil the bad actors, and let people know this is who it is, this is what they're doing, this is your money that's getting stolen, this is the bad things that they're doing to you and your family. And I think it's genius.
Absolutely, and I think the biggest enemy of Doge, and this might be surprising. I'll let this what you think. I think it's the Department of Education, because the reason is that this is the propaganda and all of the the brainwashing that's going on. That's the next wave of the lefties that they're trying to pump out of the educational system. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're so adamant about trying to attack all of that, is because that's the biggest threat out of all the different departments, all the things they're trying to get rid of. I think that's the one that they're the most afraid of.
Well, yeah, because I mean that's how it all stems, right? They soil our kids and they make our kids screwed up. They're the next. Not only do they come home and screw up the parents, right? But they're the
Right.
next generation moving in with all these problems, right? With these mental problems, they got therapists, they got these pharmaceutical drugs, these psych drugs. They got all these things that are working against these kids, on top of all these idealistic things that are not idealistic. They're just these woke programs to confuse these kids. So that's the next generation of the administration or the people that are going to be running things. So I think that's a big goal of the woke government, is to get to our children and destroy our children. And it's unfortunate, because a lot of these kids don't have a chance.
Well, we have 17 days to go starting tomorrow, so it's going to be a wild ride.
It can't get here fast enough. It can't get here fast enough.
Well,
That's what I
stuff's
said.
still going to happen after they get in, but
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
I mean, at least maybe they can get a stronghold on some of this nonsense. Maybe they can go after some of these people. Like, we're in Illinois, and they're talking about, I saw a clip, and it was kind of funny, and he had a picture of JB Pritzker, right? It's about 500 pounds overweight, and then the Department of Health, and he had a picture. There's a real fit guy who was eating really good food, and he goes, "So let me get this straight. This guy is telling us this, and this is the Department of Health, and these are the people I'm supposed to be listening to. And he had these pictures of these guys, and it was really funny because he's like, yeah, okay, and he just kept eating his fish and his whatever carrots or whatever he's eating. But I just thought it was funny because I think even the young generation, not all, but they see through this nonsense. You know, these hypocritical idiots that are just pushing these agendas on us and to destroy and control us, right?
I think a lot of people are starting to see through their BS that they're putting out there. I seen a clip on MSNBC where the guy was talking, and he had a graph up of the border crossings, and he told the guys on MSNBC, he says, "Well, Trump was right because he had some of the lowest totals." He goes, and then you see it spiking here with Biden, but then he said, "But as you could see in the last month or so, the numbers have dropped considerably," trying to give credit to Biden that he's clamping down on the border, which has nothing to do with it. It's because they're not coming here anymore because they know they're going to spend thousands of dollars to the coyotes and then they're going to get shipped right back out. That's why the numbers are dropped. But MSNBC is trying to spin it that, Biden's starting to make an improvement on the border because the numbers are almost to Trump numbers when he was in office. So they keep trying, but it's not going anywhere,
You know, the one stat that I heard is that the drug cartels in Mexico they're the sixth largest employer of people in Mexico.
I bet. Hey, one thing I'll tell you guys, remember this. Crime does pay. Remember
It
that.
does.
Crime does pay.
It does.
I don't
So
know.
I could see that.
I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I was watching. I saw a tweet and I saw a little bit of a podcast. Donald Trump Jr. and he was talking about. I don't know. I've talked to a few people and they haven't heard anything about this. I just saw it this morning, and he was talking about how they are going to how Donald Trump, as soon as he's in office, he's going to get rid of the cartel in Mexico, and he talked all about how he's going to do it. Now, I think it directly correlates to all of these people that have invaded our country through Mexico, that the cartel made a bunch of money pushing them through, which I believe that they were in cahoots with our Democratic, party to get these people through. So I think that that's another way to shut down a lot of this corruption. And he's talking about it like he says that these businesses are going to get confiscated. He was talking about all this stuff. I don't want to get into all that, but that they were going to shut them down to the point where nobody's going to want to, if they are in fact cartel, nobody's going to ever want to admit that they're cartel. So it's really interesting listening to this because I think that there is a lot of corruption in this country. The fentanyl, they talked about fentanyl, they talked about the child trafficking, and then they talked about the invasion of the United States. And they talked about how that's all connected. And like I said, 10 shows ago, their cartel and our cartel, the connection. Now, Trump never said anything about our cartel. That's my perspective. But it's really interesting that they're going after the cartel in Mexico. I thought it was.
Well,
It's
one way to stop it is to close the border.
right.
Let ICE do their job here. Let the Border Patrol do their job, north and south. You will cut down the cartel's business considerably, especially over the last 4 years. I think that's a good start. So I believe it. He will.
Absolutely. And
Do the
speaking of
best.
win on that, I don't know if you heard that it was the Supreme Court of one of the courts. They blocked the sale of the border materials that
No, I
that
did
Biden
not
was
hear
trying to do.
that. Did
Yeah,
they block it?
They blocked it. Yeah, they blocked
Good.
it. So, that's a big win there. But I mean, talk about again another way that the leftist fuckers are trying to derail Trump and America First movement is trying to sell off wall that we've already purchased at 10 cents on the dollar, 5 cents on the dollar, just to stick it to Trump. I mean, how asinine is that? Because it's not Trump's money. It's the American people.
Mhm.
Come on.
I think they want it as bad as it could possibly be before Trump takes over. This way, it gives Trump a harder time trying to right this ship. And maybe when they run again in 28, they can sit there and say, well, look what he did this first year. He didn't do anything.
Oh,
I mean,
are you kidding me? Look at what he's already done. I mean, there's
well,
no
I
way that's
agree
going to
with
happen.
you, but
There's
I'm
no way it's going to
thinking
happen.
that
Yeah.
might be one of their reasonings. I mean, Not to mention Biden I don't even think Biden's doing any of this, to be honest with you.
You guys
No,
sleeping.
no, it's the deep
Yeah.
state. Yeah, it's the people, it's the puppets, the 3-letter agencies that are running the show. So that's really what's happening.
Well,
So
I don't know if you. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
no,
You
go
had
ahead,
more?
go ahead, Sal. Go.
Well, I was going to say that another thing Biden did today is that he gave the January 6th panel, Liz Cheney and all them, he gave them awards.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, he gave them awards. I was watching the video of him handing it to Liz Cheney. He gave them all awards.
Congratulations.
Hold
You,
on,
And then
you
some-
scored an IQ test over 5. You know, I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, here's Trump's talking about they should all be prosecuted, and Biden goes out and gives them all awards. You see it, right, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm seeing it at Fox News top story, USA Today, NPR. I want to see the video. Let's just pull the video up. I want to see this obnoxiousness.
There's a clip of Biden giving it to Liz Cheney. You know, they all deserve to get awards.
So one thing I want to talk about.
Here we go.
I talked about a little bit on the last show, but I did a little bit of. I was trying to figure out the whole crypto thing. Why crypto had kind of like Bitcoin made it up to 108,000, plummeted down to 92,000, and if you know the crypto market, all the cryptos kind of follow in order with the Bitcoin. Well, I did a little digging. Turns out BlackRock, which we know basically owns the world, okay? They also have a BlackRock ETF, Bitcoin ETF, right? So they are one of the majority holders of Bitcoin. Well, what gives Bitcoin its value is there's supposed to be 21 million coins ever minted. Well, turns out that the CEO of BlackRock came out with a story that said that Bitcoin will be minting more than 21 million coins.
It's
no,
impossible.
Just hear me out. No, just hear me out.
Okay.
And so he said this. Well, obviously he owns the world. What he says, people take relevance into it. So that's what created that drop in the crypto, which brought all the other cryptos down. So really what he's doing is he's manipulating the market, just like they do with the stock market. Now, because right now, okay, cryptocurrency is not federally regulated, okay? So the big money, the banks, and all the institutions are not involved in the investing. And they don't want the people to get in ahead of the institutions. This is all my perspective. But so he's stymieing the growth on it. And also the Republican Party and the Trump administration is pushing, right, for the cryptocurrency and to elevate tremendously. So it's kind of a push against the government, but it's also the kind of a stymie until they get it regulated, try to get his feet in the door and other big money investors in there before it really goes. Because once the overall investors' money goes in, that stuff's going to go through the roof. Anyways, what I wanted to spell out is this is nothing more than more manipulation by huge corporation. That's how they control our stock market. That's how they overinflated our real estate market. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on and on. And right now they're doing it with crypto. So I just wanted to kind of give people a heads up on that.
Well, okay. So if I can, I'll chime in a little bit because I do a lot of investing on crypto and reading and researching. While that is true, I mean, Elon Musk could come and say, "Hey, I'm going to make Dogecoin the number one for Tesla." It's going to react. Now, after it's done reacting, it levels out and it will continue doing what it's doing. So even though BlackRock can manipulate the market to a certain degree,
it's temporary.
It's temporary. It's not the same as what they do in the stock market and all the shit that goes on there. So,
and I agree with you. It is temporary, but it's trying to give themselves a little bit.
Oh, sure. No, I mean, because hey, if you had it at 108 and you shorted it down to 92, and say you shorted it at even a 10x, I mean, you're making some serious money on that, depending on how much you're starting out with. So that does happen. However, what I would say this is whenever you see a big jump, like it was when we were in the teens, like say when we were 15, 16, when we bottomed out. We worked our way up to 20, and then shortly thereafter it was 22, 23, 29, and then it bounced back down to 25. You know, and it bounced between 25 and 29, 30,000, probably for a good 6 months, until finally the leg it popped up into the 30s, then the 40s and 50s, and then it was bouncing around and finally got up to 60s, 70s, and then it dropped. It was bouncing between 70, 68,
it's volatile. It's volatile.
So yeah, but whenever it happens, whenever it jumps out, like it went from 70 to 90, almost over. It looked like it was overnight. Now it took a little time, but it was pretty much overnight. Whenever that happens, you're going to have some corrections, and nothing's ever going to go up. Whenever it goes up, there's always people that profit take. So that's going to basically kind of bring it down and stabilize things until we get another momentum that goes up. So then the crypto guys that I talked about is that we already kind of figured there's going to be kind of a crypto winter, not in a bad sense, but basically January with everything going on, it's going to be great. Now, once Trump's in there and everything's going hunky-dory, we're going to probably see another leg up there until we either do one or two things. We'll end this bull run at the middle of the year, and because everything's cyclical, or because of what Trump's doing and everything's happening, there's a possibility we go into what's called a super cycle, where we bypass the bear market and just keep going up. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But yeah, I mean, yes, do we want BlackRock in there? No, but because BlackRock's price, what they've been doing, again, manipulating, but most of the cryptocurrency that they have, they're not buying on the open market. They're just buying it from Grayscale. They're buying it from one capital house first to another. So that's why when the ETF first came out, there was a big push. Oh my God, it's going to go to the moon. And then it really didn't. People are disappointed. Well, it's because they're not buying more crypto off the market. They're buying it. It's almost like me taking it from my right hand and giving it to the left hand. It's not moving the market. However, that's all starting to dry up. And then when people start buying it on the open market, that's when you're going to start seeing it going through the moon. So, but again, I tell people, don't let BlackRock get it. Buy it yourself.
Right.
Buy it and hold it yourself, because we don't want them having, because eventually when we get to $1 million Bitcoin, a $10 million Bitcoin, we're not going to have such huge spikes. It's going to level off just like the stock market. But because there is only 22,000, it's built in the algorithm. I don't care what BlackRock does. They will never be able to produce more than 22 million Bitcoin. It's not possible. Now they can.
No, it's not possible. I did some research. It's not possible.
It's not possible. But again, they're talking shit and they're manipulating the market. Right. And honestly, for them to say that, whoever said that, they should be held accountable. They really should.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just wanted to.
But no, that's a great. It's a great observation, Don. And I think more people need to really invest and look into cryptocurrency, because it really is the wave of the future. It really is.
Absolutely.
You want to make wealth, AI and crypto is where it's at. Hey, do we want to go back? I got it queued up here. Do we want to see the Liz Cheney nonsense with the award and have a few laughs?
Sure.
All right, hold on a second. Let me share the screen here real quick.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll be able to share the audio.
You don't even really need the audio. You just see him handing her the award and him looking like he's spaced out and her just so excited.
Oh.
No, that's not Liz Cheney.
Stupid ads.
There is no audio.
No audio?
No. Mm-mm. The clip I seen was just Biden at an award ceremony handing her whatever the heck.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's it. Maybe it is. Yeah, that's how she was dressed. Yeah, see, they're all going up to get their little awards for January 6th, which all of them will be let out anyways right away.
Oh, what do you mean they'll be let out?
Well, because Trump's going to pardon the January 6th people that they arrested.
Oh,
not those people, the people that were arrested.
Those poor people. How much time have they spent in jail? Jesus Christ, 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
That's awful.
Well, you know what though? But somehow they're going to be held accountable, because you know what though? If these January 6th committee, I really do hope they take them to task, because they need to be held accountable for the lies and the manipulation that they put out there.
Unless they
Without a
get the
doubt.
blanket pardon, the Biden blanket pardon,
What-
which he hinted around to.
Well, what's the compensation, right? You get thrown in jail for 4 years. You lose your job, you lose your house, you lose your family, you lose everything. What's the compensation for that? And
I don't
who's
know.
going to pay you? The government? No, we don't want to pay. No, just sell these motherfuckers houses. All these lying cocksuckers sell their houses and start paying these people. I mean,
Oh.
it's ridiculous. I can't even imagine sitting for 4 years in a penitentiary knowing that everything on the outside is going away because of somebody's lies. It's a bunch of nonsense.
And don't forget the cop, the Capitol police officer who shot the woman who was there and killed her,
Yep.
and he's still on the job. I
They're
mean,
good. They're going to be held accountable. I really do. I can't wait for Cash to get in there and start. And there's a difference between accountability and what the left calls, oh, they're going after their revenge or their payback. It's not payback. It's called being accountable for your actions, and it needs to be done.
You
It just
break
needs
the
to be
law.
done.
You break the law, right? What happens, Sal, when you break the law and you get caught?
you
What
go.
happens?
You go.
Yeah.
You go.
I hope
and
they
you
go,
sit.
but Mr. Wonderful controlling the Department of Justice, no one was going. The only one they were trying to get to go was Trump.
Mhm. Well, that's
So
because yeah.
we'll
But,
see if that all changes.
Speaking of laws, let's talk about this crazy ass. Since we're talking about how the left are trying to screw everything up again here, as I was mentioning earlier, New Jersey law just went into effect January 1. That removes the requirement for teachers to pass reading, writing, and mathematics tests for certification. We're not talking calculus here, people. We're talking adding and subtracting. They no longer need to pass it in New Jersey. How asinine of a blue state do you have to be to pass some bullshit like that for our kids?
They don't have to know how to read.
Nope. No, they might have to read, but there's no longer a test for certification. So to become a teacher, once you go to school, you have to pass certain tests to show that you're proficient in being able to teach this to your kids.
You got to
Well,
be related to Helen Keller, or what's going on over there?
In New Jersey, they've removed that requirement. Is no longer needed. It's absolute the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life.
This
Again,
is going to cause that trickle down effect where if the teachers aren't fully qualified to teach the students aren't going to learn.
Right.
And this
correct.
is all going to come back. I mean, you judge a teacher. The best way to judge a teacher on how well she teaches is how well the students perform.
Correct.
Everybody always says, no, she's a good teacher. Or if you hear a teacher that says, well, I just can't teach them. I tried everything. Well, that's not it. The good teachers could figure out a way to teach the kids. That's how they should be judged.
Sal, it's no different than a good mechanic. How do you know if he's a good mechanic? If the car runs good.
That's
car
right.
runs like shit, he's not a good mechanic.
Well, now, like Markus said, they're lowering the standard, so you can't even go by what I just said anymore. I mean, now the teachers don't have to have qualifications. That's ridiculous. But that's just in New Jersey. So hopefully, by getting rid of the Department of Education,
that's in New Jersey.
Maybe that'll go away.
Maybe.
Go away. Which Trump says
but this
he wants.
This is interesting that these leftists are fighting. Now we got a big company. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Costco bucks the anti-woke trend, telling shareholders to double down on DEI. I mean, how asinine of a company do you have to be? I put in there. I said, you will never get another Costco membership from me ever again. Fuck you all. It's absolute obnoxiousness.
Wow, I'm surprised with the trends that are going on now that they're standing their ground and they're going to keep the DEI on there, huh?
A lot of companies. I mean, you look at what Bob Iger's going through with all the woke bullshit with Disney, and they're being taken to task. And capitalism wins out. We win in America. We vote with our dollars.
Well,
and
people
guess
stop
what?
Going to Costco.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize.
I didn't know that either.
A lot of stuff at Costco.
Just crazy. It is crazy. So in doing this, I know it's after Christmas and New Year's, but I wanted to play this to you. You guys may have seen this. It's hysterical, but it is perfect. It's a perfect holiday tune to talk about the woke nonsense and how the woke can go fuck themselves. So hold on, so let me cue this up here, and I hope it'll play with the sound. Hold on a second.
You haven't been getting any sound on those videos.
Can you hear that?
No.
God damn it! All right.
And the
will,
picture is real staggered too.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was
He's a very
before
handsome
with
guy,
with
but
Biden.
he needs to get some
Let me.
paper and
I will.
draw
Let me.
paper.
Let me see if I can adjust this
I
here.
think the companies are just not figuring this out. They don't see what happened with Target and Bud Light and everything else.
I don't know. You would think that they would understand that. You go broke, you go broke. It's just how it is, and there's just it's crazy. Let me try stopping the screen and just see if I can get this
Yeah, I don't get it.
Hold on, let me do this here. Let me try window.
Well, they'll probably see their memberships go down.
Oh God!
Absolutely.
If this thing's all over the media, hell yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about it. But like I said, the media, the news is dominated by these two terrorist attacks that first the FBI said wasn't a terrorist attack, but then with the ISIS flag and everything, now they're saying they are.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can hear this here.
Well, the tide is fine.
It's real staggered.
But can you hear it?
It's cutting in and out.
Okay, so
It's
you
not
can't
great
hear it.
audio.
All right, hold on a second.
Well, the tide is finally turning,
Okay.
and Kamala's speech is slow.
I'll do something different here, but go ahead. We'll go to the next tab. Next. What's next on your guys' list here to talk about?
Don, do you have something?
No, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was the way to create value, not value, but to make something more valuable, right? Is to make it scarce, right? And the way to pull the value, make something invaluable, is to make it abundant. And it's going back to my whole BlackRock thing with the cryptocurrency. When they're making it sound like, okay, yeah, it was valuable when there was 21 million coins going to ever be minted. Okay, there's the value, and everyone's like, we got to have that. That's the upside. That's the holy grail of the crypto. Right. Now all of a sudden, they're saying, yeah, we're gonna make sure that there's more minted. There's gonna be more minted. Well, what they're saying basically is it's gonna be abundant, right? It kind of strips the value away. So what we have to remember is these people are genius. These people are so smart in how they manipulate things that most people don't even understand how basic a lot of these ideas are, because they don't look at it through the nuts and bolts on what they're doing. But when you make something scarce, you make it valuable. When you make it abundant, you take away the value. And it's the same thing with gold. It was the same thing with the U.S. currency that they just keep overprinting. As soon as you create all this abundance in cash, right? The money in Nazi Germany in 1929, they printed so much of it that it was worthless. Rooms of cash was worthless, and the reason why is because it was so abundant. Nobody wanted it. You make it scarce, you make it valuable. So you have to understand that these people that are manipulating things, okay, the puppets, right? The puppets that are floating around, they're idiots. But the people that are actually pulling these strings are genius. And we have to remember that we're not just dealing with average Joes. These people are extremely, extremely intelligent.
Yeah, I call it the limited edition theory. Yeah. When people put out products and they just put that limited edition, it makes everybody want to run out and get it because it's going to go away. I got to get it now.
Right.
I mean, it's genius marketing, advertising.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, it's like anything else, when the deficit is so bad, Biden decides to just print more money. It makes the dollar worth a lot less, just like what you said.
Yeah, and so that's actually what's given value to the cryptocurrency, because with the cryptocurrency, not only do you get to hold it, right? You're the owner, but there's some privacy behind it. But in some of these cryptos, like for instance, Bitcoin, they call it the digital gold, and they say right now that gold right now is holding its value, but they're saying that the digital gold is going to be so much more valuable down the road because it's who's going to carry around gold? Are you going to have a box with gold?
Right.
No, but cryptocurrency, you could have it on any of your devices. You know what I mean? So
I didn't know it was limited till you told me the other day. I had no idea that Bitcoin was limited. And I have to admit, as soon as you said that, I kind of had this feeling like, wow, I really missed out buying that in 15 or 14.
Well, in 15, yeah, I mean, yes, but it's never too late. I mean, Michael Saylor started buying Bitcoin and basically putting his entire company, MicroStrategies, when it was in the 60s, and then it dropped in the 50s and 40s, and he just consistently started buying it all the way down to 15, and then kept on buying it all the way up. And guess what? Now he is way in the black when it comes to the company, because he knows he understood what Bitcoin really was. So it's never too late. Don't think that, really.
And a lot of the most successful companies are the ones that actually invest in cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, and they're taking their dollars, and you look at the increase that they're getting on their investment, right? I mean, it's incredible. So,
well, and in cryptocurrency, just so you know, Don, Sal, most of them do. It's not a limited supply. Bitcoin is the only one, to my knowledge, that is a limited supply. All the rest of them are backed by a company or a project. That's why they're called altcoins. Even Ethereum is considered an altcoin. XRP. Now, XRP is one.
I have XRP.
I would say you want to double down on that, because
I did.
everything that I'm reading on XRP is the fact that, I mean, you got all kinds of financial rails that are building on there. I mean, I think Japan, so many countries are basing their entire monetary systems on the technology of XRP. So it's just going to keep going and going.
Yeah, it's going up every day, because I bought a bunch of that. Also, the Doge, I bought a bunch of, but XRP I got on and bought a bunch of that. Yeah. And every day I'm getting emails that's going up.
Doge is a meme coin. There's nothing really value except for the fact that, you've got the Doge and you've got, Elon Musk talked about it, whatever, but XRP has real value, intrinsic value behind it.
That's what I bought most of is XRP. Yeah. So it's just sitting there, but it's going up every day. I keep getting the emails.
So here's the very last thing I'd like to talk about before we close up the show. And it's going to sound like a conspiracy theory to a lot of people. A lot of people think that anything that's not standard agreement, or it's not on the news, or it's not in the media is a conspiracy theory. So about 3 weeks ago, maybe it's 4 weeks ago, I'm not exactly sure what it was. Felt completely great, working out, couldn't feel better. And my girlfriend says, you want to take the dogs for a walk around the park? And I said, sure. So we take a walk, and I look up and I go, look up, look what's going on. Okay. And you got these planes up there, and they're zigzagging. All these planes are zigzagging, and all the white smoke is coming out of the back. Right. And I said, we are getting crop dust. And she goes, you're so full of shit. Right. I'm like, I'm telling you, they're poisoning us. Okay. Anyways, we go home. Next morning, she wakes up. She's sick. It starts with the sinus infection, right? The very next day, I get sick. I get the sinus infection. Then we get really tired. Turns out, we don't know because we don't do the testing for all that bullshit, but it turns out it's that corona shit, because I did lose my smell. Well, I'm like, she goes, I don't know about that we get crop dusted. And I said, yeah. And I told a lot of people, and they looked at me like I was crazy, right? Well, I went in and I talked to my natural doctor, and I said, yeah, you know what, I was sick, and believe it or not, when they call it, when they release the gas in the ozone, what do they call it?
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Right.
Yes.
So, anyways, I said, yeah, there was not just one or two stripes. They were like checkerboarded all over above. And my doctor kind of looked at me, and then his wife was like, yeah, I agree with all of that. Well, I was in there today, okay, and he said that there was a woman that came in yesterday, and she said that she was sick with she had a sinus infection, and she asked her, "What's going on? Did you walk through that fog?" And she goes, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "Because that's supposedly there's contaminants in the air that's getting sprayed, right? Especially right now between the beginning of November and probably up until Trump gets in, maybe even after. I don't really know. Anyway, so I'm like, a lot of people think that it's all conspiracy theory. Well, I'm looking at some Instagram and some different stuff. Well, sure enough, there's a thing. There was a video this morning that I saw at 6:30 this morning. U.S. DARPA. They call it smart dust, right? And it says this fog doesn't look like fog. Anyways, um, yesterday my son called me. He lives down in the city, and he said, "Dad," he goes, "it snowed down here, but it's not snow." I said, "Well, what do you mean it's not snow?" He goes, "It's just this white stuff that looks like styrofoam." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Dad, I think we're being poisoned." I said, "What?" He goes, "I'm telling you." So he goes out and he takes a picture of this stuff. And I said, "Well, does it melt?" And if you put a finger on it and you hold it on, it will melt. But it does look like styrofoam. So anyways, I true and everybody I know is getting sick right now. So honest to God, I truly believe that we are being poisoned right now. And I don't know if you guys been sick. I don't know if you guys know a lot of people that are sick, but I'm telling you, like you think going out of the house and walking and getting fresh air is a good thing. Right now, I don't know. I don't know that that's the best thing going because um, it's just it seems like everyone's getting sick and it seems like it happens when we go outside and they got this stuff that they're spraying. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm gonna send a picture
Well,
of
I got it on the screen here, my friends. I'm Don. I don't know if you can see this. I'm pulling it up right now. He's talking about the fog here. I don't know if you did you hear this.
yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna show you a picture of and it'll take a while to zoom in.
Yeah, I could see that.
It looks like
Yeah.
styrofoam.
Well, more people are getting sick because they said that they're trying to get that mask mandate back because you
Right?
had 2.2 million people
Well,
getting sick since December, and now it's up to 4.4 because you have a rise in COVID-19 cases, they said, RSV, and also the norovirus. They're calling it a triple or to quadruple threat. So there must be another one there
They're
too.
just trying. They're just using the chicken virus bullshit
does this
to
look
try to
like
get everyone
snow?
sick. Bird flu.
Does
It's
that
just
look
a
like
flu.
snow? Does that look like
Yeah.
snow to you guys?
No, not that I could see.
That was in Lincoln Park yesterday,
Huh.
New Year's Day. Anyways, so and Sal, I was talking before the show about this to you, and you had mentioned what you take your folks to the doctor or the hospital or whatever. What do
Yeah.
they tell you?
Well, at least Rush here now, you have to have your mask on at all times again. So
So now
you
they're
can't even
pushing.
go in the office without it. Now it's
That's crazy.
mandatory. So that's back, at least with the doctor's offices, it is.
We gotta fight that. We gotta fight back on that shit. We really do.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, that's what they're
So
starting up this crap again. So I know the cases, so they say the cases went from 2.2 million to 4.4 just since December 12th of last year. So I don't know.
yeah,
Could be the white dust. I don't know. I know I was on the road yesterday, Don, and at one point I did see, I couldn't figure out why, because out here it's rural, there's a lot of farmland, and it looked like there was almost a fog. And I was like, well, that's odd. What is that? And then it was starting to snow a little bit. Like you could see it. If you really stared, you could see the snow a little bit starting. So I just brushed it off as okay, there's just a flurry coming through. Now, nothing ever came of it because I was driving, but I did happen to notice some fog yesterday, which is funny that you brought this up today because it just reminded me of that.
so
So,
anyways, sounds like conspiracy theory. I'd be curious to know how many listeners out there are either are sick, were sick, or they know people that are sick. Because I know I would say the majority of the people I know are extremely healthy, and they've all been sick, and it's not just a little sniffle. They're pretty darn sick,
Well,
and they've
Don,
been
you're
sick
going to
for
have to
weeks.
stay on this, Don. You're going to have
Yeah.
to stay on this and let us know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some investigational work and see how that goes. But
I haven't seen any planes out here, but I mean, they do crop dust out here in the spring, in the summer,
mhm.
but I haven't seen anything yet. So stay on it and let us know. That's
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
we talked about a few episodes ago about the weather manipulation. They're definitely doing it, and we all want to believe that. Oh God, it can't be happening. Come on, but you know what? They're doing this shit. I mean, just look up at the DARPA stuff. I mean, they're these microparticles, these nanoparticles, and they're getting into our systems. I mean, it's really, we have to be careful. So Don, yeah, definitely keep us posted on that. But let's end on a couple of good things here, real
Yeah,
quick.
let's do it.
We've got one of the things, as you guys probably I think this was about a week and a half ago. Um, but the president, one of the Sun Bank, the president of Sun Bank, which is one of the largest banks in Japan, I believe, pledged $100 billion for U.S. tech jobs coming here to the U.S. And I'm sure this
Yeah.
is not going to. Let me know if you can hear this. If not,
I did see that clip.
yeah,
No audio.
no audio.
No.
But anyway, make a long story short, while he was doing it, he was like, he's complimenting him and like, and right there on the spot, he goes, "How about $200 billion?" Right there, live in front of the presentation. And guess what? The guy's like, "Yeah, I think I'll do it." And then that's kind of negotiating that Trump does. So that's a huge win because you know how many jobs that's going to bring to the U.S. It's going to be freaking amazing.
Well, that's because you got a business guy
Exactly.
in the
E-
White House, not a
Everyone's gonna
politician,
want.
technically.
Everyone's gonna want to do business with the United States. You watch. It's really gonna work out well. I know we've talked about some stuff that maybe doesn't make people happy. We're just trying to make people aware. I'm hoping that we can start changing the subject once Trump gets in, or start talking about only the good stuff. Right now, there's a little bit of manipulation, and people are, the deep state is still trying to pull a lot of nonsense. But there's some really good stuff ahead. Really looking forward to it, and
And
happy New Year, everybody! Thank you for listening, and hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for coming out, and everybody have a great night.
and share this with your friends. We'll end on this. I was able to. I think I'm gonna have a sound on this one. So let me know, guys, because this one should be.
Well, the tide is finally turning, and Kamala's speech is slurring. Thank God we're saying bye to Joe. Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke. And the mainstream media's dying. The viewers shaving their heads and crying. What is a woman? Well, they still don't know. Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke. They tried to stop us by taking his life, but they missed, so it's fight, fight, fight. The left really thought they beat the right, and they fought, but they lost, thank the Lord. Now January is coming. Half of Hollywood's already running to find a new countries to call home. Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke.
Well, don't like the ponytail, but
As the drones fill up our sky, and Ukraine still wants more dough, and the left tries to take our rights. They want us bending a knee, but we won't. With Diddy locked up, it's been swell, and Epstein didn't kill himself. Hunter smoking crack with ho ho ho. Screw the woe, screw the woe, screw the woe.
On that
There we
night,
go.
on that note, Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful evening.
Have a wonderful
Take
evening,
care.
guys. Everyone, cheers,
Bye now.
everybody here.